Hey guys, I just wanted to sit down and talk to you, so this video probably won't be a whole lot of fun. There's not a lot of clips of us playing. I just wanted to talk about Evie's encounter with flu last year, and maybe let you guys know why the flu scares me more than our kids. So, this was middle of October in 2016, so not the October that just passed, but a year before that. Our daughter Evelyn was starting to not feel so well on Friday, I would say. It was Friday after her preschool class. She came home and she was just a little more tired than normal. And it just didn't strike us as anything besides, oh, she's probably got a cold, or it was a long week at school. And she had just started going to school that year, so getting tired by Friday wasn't anything unusual. By Saturday night, she had started getting a fever, and we treated it with Tylenol, and it was going down a little bit, but not back down to normal. Sunday, the fever got worse, her coughing got worse, congestion got worse. So by Monday morning, she didn't go to school because obviously she had a fever. And she was also getting sick to her stomach, and so we took her to the doctor, and the doctor tested her that day, and that day she was tested for strep and flu, to which she came back positive for both flu and flu types A and B, and then she also tested positive for strep that day. So they gave us antibiotics for the strep. They told us that she's, relatively healthy, and that the side effects of Tamiflu can sometimes not be as helpful, or can make current symptoms worse. So we didn't get Tamiflu at that time, and they just told us to treat her symptoms with Tylenol and Motrin, and cool mist humidifier. If you're a parent, you know this whole checklist, make sure their head's elevated, lots of rest, lots of fluids, and to help her tummy, the brat diet, which is bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast, and just keep her as comfortable as possible and let her battle off the flu on her own and have the antibiotics for the strep. On Tuesday, her fever still hadn't broken, and it was just getting higher. And by higher, I mean it was like 103 even with Tylenol. And so we were doing the Tylenol every 6 hours and the Motrin every 6 hours, but you do it at noon for Tylenol, say, and then at 3 p.m. you would give Motrin, and then at 6 p.m. you give Tylenol again. You just keep doing that to keep the fever down. Well, they told us to call if her fever hadn't broken in 3 days. So by the time we got to Thursday, her fever was still really high. It was still staying up 104, and we could not get it down. Even with Tylenol and Motrin, it would only go down to 102 or 103. So we brought her back again, and we saw one of the doctors there that we absolutely love, and he listened to her, and he was like, I think she has pneumonia, and we need to get her checked out as soon as possible. Her oxygen was lower than it should be. You normally want your oxygen saturation to be 95 or higher, and in the office they got a reading of like 87. It was 86, 87. Like, they just couldn't get any higher than that, and they were getting really worried. So he said, go home. He goes, don't go home. Just go straight to the emergency room. I'm going to give you paperwork telling you I'm sending you. I'm going to call them. They're going to know you're coming. And hopefully we can get you right in and get you a room. And we got into the waiting room. I have pictures. You can just look at her, and it looked like she was physically there, but it looked like mentally she had checked out. And she was just gone. It scared us. She was so sick. She looked like she was checked out, and when we got her into the room and she was settled down, and they had started an IV because she was a little bit dehydrated from all the upset stomach and the tail end issues that she was going on with flu, and still running a fever. So they gave her some more Tylenol, and they were keeping her up with her Tylenol and Motrin on rotation, but they upped it from every 3 hours to every 2 hours. They were going back and forth between the two, and had set up an IV. Most of the time, she was so lethargic. She was like a newborn baby. She'd wake up and look at you for a little while, and then drink some water, and pretty much pass right back out. She was so tired, so worn out. It was awful. And so once she got settled in the room with an IV set up, and Ray stayed with her, and I ran home where my mother was watching the other two, and I went and got them tucked in and rested, ready to go to bed for the night, and put them in, and they went to sleep. And then I came back with some stuff and her tablet, some snacks for Ray, and any of her favorite foods I could think of that maybe she'd want to eat, because she hadn't been eating for days, so we were just trying to get her to eat anything at this point. And I came back in, and she had a blue tube next to her bed, just blowing straight oxygen pretty much into her face, because while I was gone, she had dropped from the high 80s to like the mid to low 80s in her oxygenation level. When she fell asleep, they dropped further, and all the other measurements, like when we were at the doctor's office, she was awake for, so we didn't see that it was dropping even lower when she fell asleep. And so they were blowing the oxygen straight at her nose and her mouth, because she refused to wear a mask, and she wouldn't wear the tubes that go up below the air up your nose and like wrap around your ears. She refused to use those. When I came back, we were sitting there for about an hour, and the doctor came in with asking, we're going to do some more tests, we want to check this infection out further, and he did an x-ray, and the x-ray came back as double pneumonia, and they said it was fuzzy, so they were suspicious that it might have been both viral and bacterial, so they wanted to treat her for both, and they told us that she was going to be admitted that night. She stayed there for, it was 7 nights, because we went that night, and 6 days. She scared us. The second day she was there, she dropped to 78 in her oxygenation levels, which is the lowest I ever heard of at that point. I mean, I was terrified. I didn't know. She was so sick. And I have these images and these pictures from it, and she just looked like she was gone. It looked like she was checking out. But luckily she got better, and she needed treatments at home. She was on albuterol through a nebulizer, and she finished antibiotics orally at home when she was better. But the biggest thing, we can laugh about it now, was because she was flu positive in the hospital, and the first case that anyone had seen in our area, everyone was like gowning up and putting on big yellow masks and everything. So anytime anybody came into her room, they would gown up in the yellow masks and the yellow shawl that goes over their scrubs. And she was like, "I'm afraid of the banana people. No more banana people." Still to this day, she does not want to see the banana people. She doesn't never want to go back to the hospital. I understand, but it's funny now. So she recovered quite well from the pneumonia, except for she never really got to come off the albuterol. She just kept needing it to just make it through the day without wheezing or coughing. So a couple months out, it was about 5 months after she originally got sick, she was diagnosed with asthma, which she never had any symptoms before the pneumonia. And today she still is on albuterol as a rescue inhaler, but she is on a daily inhaler where she takes, she takes the inhaler in the morning and takes an inhaler at night, no matter if she's wheezing or coughing. She has one that she takes every day now, and it helps her tremendously. And during the summer, she needed allergy meds to help allergies at bay, because obviously they make it worse when you have asthma. And so this is just our little chit chat about why the flu scares me, but I guess I rambled on a little bit more than I meant to. And luckily Evie is an otherwise healthy girl today, and she got the flu this year and it wasn't that bad, and she did fine and healed well. And it was just a fluke that she got as sick as she did last year with the flu. But we are so happy to say that, she's our healthy, silly, goofy, minion and panda loving little girl now. And she is such a remarkable child that it's amazing to see how in 2 weeks she went from looking like she was so tired and so worn out that she just wanted to give up, to 2 weeks later she got her first day that she was allowed to do stuff was Halloween that year, and so she got to go trick-or-treating, and we didn't take her outside because it was cold here, but she got to go trick-or-treating to a couple of friends' homes, and she was so happy. And I'm rambling on again. Sorry, Caitlin Rambling should be the nickname of the show. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know why we kind of are behind on videos and everything like that, was because I worried way too much probably than I should for the flu. But now you guys know, and I guess I'll see you in our next video. When that will be, I'm not sure because I don't know which order we're uploading these in, so you'll have to see me then. Bye.